everyone, and welcome to the daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSeco. Today, we have an editorial that we have taken from the Indian Express, and it talks about the law of parenthood. Basically, this talks about the Surrogacy Act and what are the problems that people have against the new rules that were brought in the Act. So, we'll discuss that. Then, we have news update and legal news for the day. So this article is called as A Law for Parenthood and the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021 and the Assisted Reproductive Technology, that is the ART Reproduction Act 2021, came into force early this year. Now, as we know that previous year only, like we had these things, and we now only got these into action. So the acts are known to regulate the multi-billion-dollar industry. Now, you must be wondering that what exactly this multi-billion-dollar industry is. And then, we can understand that actually surrogacy throughout the world is a very, very big industry. Yes, of course, keeping in mind a lot of taboo that Indian society has attached itself to. In India, surrogacy is still viewed upon and it is still frowned upon, I would say. But globally, seeing surrogacy is a very big industry, rather a big business to say for that matter. And they lay down as to who can access the facilities of reproductive technology and when. So basically, this is something that we needed to bring into, under the umbrella as to when can we use this technology of surrogacy and who can use this technology. So petitions have now been filed in the Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court, claiming that acts are highly restrictive and in essence, they are also discriminatory for that matter. Now let's understand into a little more depth as to what are the issues that have been raised against the provisions of these acts. So in an attempt to prevent exploitation, a woman can donate an oocyte only once. For your clear understanding, I will give you, let me tell you what exactly oocyte is. It is basically a kind of a cell that later on produces the ovum. So ultimately, this is the female gamete or the female cell that is responsible for reproduction from the female side at least. Now, it is said that in order to prevent any exploitation of a woman, she can donate such egg only once. Now, the issue with this is that this creates a shortage of oocytes with an undercurrent of shadow market of gametes. Now, of course, when we know that if a woman can only donate her oocyte once, there is a fair chance that that particular egg or that particular cell could not be fertilized with the gamete. Now, in such a situation, this woman who already had made one donation, she stays barred from donating it the next time, due to which what happens is that in the coming time or in the coming situations, there is a shortage of oocytes that is seen. Now, the Aadhaar card policy for the donors essentially threatens their privacy. So, of course, it was actually done to make sure that only, the people who are authorized or who are of the right age, especially the women who are of the right age, who are adult, they are getting involved into surrogacy. But now, if at all they have to give all the information that is there on their Aadhaar, it is definitely a question upon their right to privacy as well. Now, commercial surrogacy is another thorny issue that comes up time and again. Now, simply commercial surrogacy is that when a woman bears a child for the other person and she's paid for that particular thing, that is called as a commercial surrogacy. Now, before 2016, compensated surrogacy was allowed. The later amendments since have banned the practice. Now, in 2017, a parliamentary standing committee too stated that expecting reproductive labor out of women in the name of altruistic surrogacy is grossly unfair and exploitative in nature. And due to this, we should understand that the rights of both such parents who are seeking for surrogacy and also the women who are offering surrogacy, the rights are protected on both the ends. Now, the petitions also raise the question whether a mother who is not fertile, not infertile, should be allowed to resort to surrogacy. Now, let's just assume a situation that there is a woman. She is not fertile biologically, which means that she can by herself bear a child naturally. But maybe due to some other reasons, maybe because she does not choose to bear that pain to be, to become a mother, or maybe she has a schedule, a very hectic routine, a lifestyle of that as such, whatever could be the reason, personal reason for that woman. Now, the question is that if a woman is not naturally infertile, will she also be allowed to have another woman as a surrogate mother, as her being her surrogate mother as in for her child or not? Now, one must remember that in a society that is like ours, that is already tough for working mothers, It is often a harrowing experience when it comes to pregnancy owing to health issues. See, we of course many a times have seen that when women, they are working, so they take maternity leaves. Many a times taking maternity leave in itself is a big task. The employers many times exploit them and they do not give them those rightful leaves. But even if they do, many times their promotions are halted or their performances are questioned. In such a situation, there might be a case that a woman might not be willing to become a mother at that particular time, and she might want to resort to surrogacy for that matter. But the law is not clear over here as to if she will be allowed such surrogacy or not. So the present law on surrogacy clearly does not take into account the privilege of a certain class and how there is little to support for most of the working women in today's society. So definitely they have been chucked out of this entire segment. So there's an important chance for the Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court to revisit the legislations and make it more inclusive in nature. Let's see what do we have for news updates today. Firstly, Main Bhi Subhash campaign. So Ladakh MP Jamyang Sering Namgyal launched the Main Bhi Subhash campaign from Leh. So the campaign is a series of events which is organized by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose INA Trust in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture. The campaign is going to be organized on the occasion of the 125th birth anniversary of Netaji on 23rd January next year and begins in Mumbai and Kolkata. Here is a very interesting question for you all. This year itself, the birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose, that is 23rd January, was proclaimed as a day. Something Divas. So that is a Hindi name. So if you know that what exactly is the name given to this particular day, pause this video and let me know in the comment section below. Secondly, Pathar Panchali declared Best Indian Film. So a survey held by the FIPRESCI India chapter resulted in the creation of a list of the top 10 films in the Indian cinematic history. And the feature film Pathar Panchali by renowned director Satyajit Ray has been named the best Indian movie of all time by the International Federation of Film Critics. Thirdly, UK's new Prime Minister, we all must have already heard of this news by now. So the former Chancellor Rishi Sunak is United Kingdom's new Prime Minister, and he won after running for the second time this year. So as we know that recently Liz Truss has resigned from the post, and he had earlier also lost to Liz Truss in September. But since she resigned 6 weeks later, her appointment, now he has taken the position of UK's new Prime Minister. He is also the first Indian origin to ascend to the position of the Prime Minister and first person of color to do so. Fourthly, CPEC-like corridor projects. Now, CPEC is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So in addition to the multi-billion-dollar CPEC corridor, Pakistan and China are set to start 3 new corridors in November with the aim of strengthening bilateral ties. Fifthly, India's third largest export market. So the Netherlands has emerged as India's third largest export destination ahead of China and Bangladesh. It has moved up 2 spots in the list of India's top 10 export destinations since financial year 2022. Sixthly, new ISRO missile with 6-ton payload. So the Indian Space Research Organization's heaviest rocket launch vehicle Mark III, which took off from the second launch pad of the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota at 12:07 a.m., has successfully orbited 36 satellites of UK-based OneWeb. Seventhly, T20 World Cup for the Blind. So the Cricket Association for the Blind in India has announced former Indian cricketer Yuvraj Singh as their brand ambassador for the 3rd T20 World Cup for the Blind to be held in India in December. Ajay Kumar Reddy from Andhra Pradesh will lead the Indian team, while Venkateshwara Rao from Andhra Pradesh will be the vice captain. Let's see what do we have for legal updates today. Firstly, liquidated damages received by shipping company not exempted under the tonnage tax scheme according to the ITAT, which is basically the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. So the Visakhapatnam bench of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal has ruled that liquidated damages received by a shipping company cannot be included in computation of tonnage tax, and therefore they are not exempt under the tonnage tax scheme as provided under Chapter 12G of the Income Tax Act 1961. This was held in the case of Messrs. Dredging Corporation of India Limited versus Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax. This was all for today. We hope you liked the session. Thank you so much for staying tuned with LawSikho. If you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below, or you can also scan this QR code that you can see on your screens right now. Thank you so much.